June 18, 2020, Munich. Europe's $24 billion tech champion has one job today: show its auditor a bank statement. 1.9 billion euros, supposedly sitting in two banks in the Philippines. The auditor has waited 18 months. Today is the deadline.
We just need the confirmation from Manila. Where is it?
It's coming. The money is there. Trust me.
The money was not there. The banks in Manila had never heard of the accounts. The confirmation letters were forgeries. Faked documents, faked stamps, faked signatures. 7 days later, Germany's proudest tech company was insolvent. The first collapse in the history of the DAX. And here's the part that should scare you. The 1.9 billion didn't vanish in a heist. It never existed. This is the biggest accounting fraud in European history. The executive now on Interpol's most wanted list. And the one stubborn journalist who beat an entire country to the truth. Rewind to 1999. A tiny startup outside Munich processes payments for the websites no bank wants to touch. Online casinos. And porn. That's the origin story. In 2002, a new CEO takes over. An Austrian computer scientist with a doctorate, a permanent black turtleneck, and rimless glasses. The full Steve Jobs costume. He talks like a prophet, buys a chunk of the company with his own money, and starts telling Germany a beautiful story. The story. Cash is dying, every payment will be digital, and this little Bavarian company owns the pipes. The numbers agree, revenue up 20–30% every year like clockwork. Never a bad quarter for 15 years. Real businesses stumble, Wirecard never did. Analysts should have found that suspicious. They found it beautiful.
A German company beating Silicon Valley at payments? Finally.
Buy it, whatever the price. This is our tech miracle.
September 2018, the coronation. Wirecard enters the DAX 30, Germany's elite index, and the company it kicks out, in an irony too perfect, Commerzbank. A 150-year-old bank replaced by the porn payment startup. At the peak, the stock hits 191 euros. Wirecard is worth 24 billion, more than Deutsche Bank. The CEO borrows 150 million against his own shares. Remember that detail. Germany finally has its tech giant. One problem. The profits everyone celebrated were generated 3,000 miles away, where, conveniently, nobody ever looked. Here's how the magic officially worked. Where Wirecard had no license, Dubai, Singapore, Manila, it said local partners process the payments. Third-party acquirers. 3 small companies most Wirecard employees had never even visited. On paper, those 3 partners produced half of Wirecard's revenue, and essentially all of its profit. The headquarters, the thousands of employees, the business everyone could see, barely made money. The entire profit of a DAX company came from 3 obscure partners on the other side of the planet. And the profit supposedly sat in escrow accounts in Asia, held by a trustee. Imagine your salary never hits your account. Your employer says a man abroad is holding it, and once a year that man sends a letter. It's all here. You never see the account. Would you accept that? Wirecard's auditors did. For years, letters and screenshots instead of asking the banks.
I can't map these Asia numbers to any real clients. Where do they actually come from?
Partners handle it. You handle the slides.
Running this paper empire, the chief operating officer. The fixer. Always smiling, always just landed from Dubai or Manila or Moscow, never writes anything down. The partners, the escrow accounts, everything runs through him personally. Remember him. He has a private jet booked for later in this story. Now grab the lesson because it protects you for life. Real profits turn into real cash. Wirecard reported record profits and constantly needed more money. Loans, bonds, SoftBank. If the machine prints money, why does it keep borrowing money? Paper profits plus cash hunger equals red flag. It flagged Enron. It flagged Wirecard. It works. London, 2015. A Financial Times reporter pulls on a loose thread. Numbers in Wirecard's own reports don't add up. Asian subsidiaries bought for absurd prices from sellers nobody can identify. He publishes House of Wirecard. The stock wobbles. Then something strange happens. Wirecard doesn't answer the questions. The questions get attacked. In 2016, after an anonymous report alleges money laundering, German regulators investigate. The report's authors, not the company, the critics. It becomes the pattern. Short sellers are branded criminals. Private investigators shadow journalists through London. Sources get fed poisoned documents. Every article gets denied, every denial believed, and the stock recovers. Because Germany wants the story to be true. January 2019, the biggest story yet. A whistleblower inside Wirecard's own Singapore office. Internal documents showing forged contracts, invented revenue, backdated deals. Singapore police raid the office. The stock crashes 30%. This is the moment the system should pounce. Instead,
Munich prosecutors opened an investigation into market manipulation.
I show them fraud, and they investigate the guy who found it.
the regulator, BaFin, bans short selling of Wirecard. First single stock ban in German history, officially protecting the company from its critics. Then it files criminal complaints against the journalists. The fraud catchers saw evidence of fraud and prosecuted the people who found it. That spring, SoftBank hands Wirecard 900 million euros. Months later, the German chancellor personally promotes Wirecard on a state visit to China. Everyone who should have checked, vouched. The company isn't too big to fail. It's too German to fail. Late 2019, the FT publishes Wirecard's own internal accounting files. Cornered, Wirecard hires KPMG for a special audit to clear its name once and for all. April 2020, the report lands devastating in the politest way. 6 months of digging, and the auditors cannot confirm the third-party profits, all the profits, ever existed. The trail ends at PDFs and promises. The stock drops 26% in a day. The CEO calls it a misunderstanding. Now EY finally does what it skipped for a decade. Demand direct confirmation of the escrow money from the actual banks. In person. June 18, 2020. Deadline day. The one we started with.
This confirmation letter? It's a forgery. That account does not exist at this bank.
That letter says 1.9 billion euros.
The Philippine banks confirm in writing the documents are fake. The Justice Department adds the killer line. The money never entered the Philippine banking system at all. Wirecard admits its auditor can't find 1.9 billion euros. The stock loses 60% in hours. June 19th, the CEO resigns. The banks call the loans against his shares, vaporizing his billions. The fixer is suspended the same day, but he doesn't wait around to be fired properly.
Flight plan says Minsk. That's not a business trip, is it?
Just fly.
That night, the COO boards a private jet near Vienna and vanishes eastward. Still gone. Interpol red notice, Europe's most wanted list. Reportedly hiding in Russia, with alleged intelligence ties going back years. The payments genius was never just a payments genius. June 22nd. The company admits the 1.9 billion, quote, with prevailing likelihood does not exist. June 25th. Insolvency. The stock falls from over 100 euros to 20 billion of investor money, pensions, index funds, small savers, evaporates in a week. The CEO is arrested. His Munich trial has run since 2022. The fallout buries everyone who vouched. The regulator's boss loses his job. Parliament investigates. The audit firm gets banned from new listed clients for 2 years. And the short sellers, the criminals, right all along. Early and hated is not the same as wrong. How does a company with no real profits fool auditors, regulators, banks, and a whole country for a decade? Wrong question. The right one. Who was actually checking? Nobody. The auditor trusted letters. The regulator trusted the auditor. Investors trusted everyone. 6 layers of oversight, 0 verification. 1 phone call to Manila would have ended it years earlier. Nobody called. Stacked blindly, trust is the vulnerability. Your protection. 3 rules. 1. Profits you can't touch aren't profits. Earnings climb, but the company keeps needing outside cash. Something's broken. That rule flagged Enron, flagged Wirecard early, and still works on any stock you'll ever own. 2. Watch how power reacts to hard questions. Numbers and documents, healthy. Lawyers, surveillance, conspiracy theories. Run. When someone sues the question instead of answering it, the question is usually right. 3. Never bet everything on one safe stock, especially the national hero. Thousands of savers had their retirement in Wirecard because it felt patriotic and unsinkable, right there in the DAX next to BMW. Index membership is not a safety certificate. Patriotism is not a portfolio. The next Wirecard will look like the safest stock you know. A journalist with a notebook found what an army of auditors and regulators missed, because he checked while they trusted. The 1.9 billion was never missing. It was never there. That's the scariest kind of money, the kind that only exists as long as nobody looks. If this made money make a little more sense, subscribe. New stories every day. Money stuff, simply explained.